Okay, so this is a video we're making for my friend Lynn to show that you can make water boil without heating it up. And so what we got here is we have a little beaker of water there. That's water. And it has in it a temperature probe, and the temperature probe says it's 72 degrees Fahrenheit. And we also have this cool flask here that the water will go in here, and then this is connected to the same thing that's going to measure its pressure. It's currently at 14.3 psi, so it's like atmospheric pressure, a little bit less because we're at higher altitude. And then it's got this valve here that lets air in and out, so you can turn that on or off to do that. And what we're going to do is we're going to make the water boil by just decreasing the pressure. And we're going to do that using an aspirator, which is essentially a way of turning a faucet into a vacuum pump. And so what happens is it has this, the water goes through there obviously, and has a sidearm. The sidearm hooks up to this hose. And what happens is when you turn the water on, it sucks air out of the hose. And so you can see that, like, it sucked it, and it kind of like, will like give your finger a little hickey. And so what we're going to do is, I'm going to turn it off for now. We're going to take our water, we're not going to heat it, we're going to take our water and pour it into this flask. So notice it's 72 degrees now. We're going to check it when we're done because that's kind of cool too. So we're going to pour the water into there. Doesn't really matter how much. That should be good. It's like 25 milliliters, something like that. Do that there. And then, oh, got a little cooler. The flask was cool apparently. Temperature went down a little bit when we poured it in there. The glass must have been cold itself to do that. Okay, now what we're going to do is we're going to close this valve so that it's not sucking out air. So the valve is sideways so the air can't get into or out of the flask. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to hook up the hose here. So that goes over to the aspirator. And I'm going to turn on the aspirator now. And that's trying to suck air out of the hose. And that would, if it was sucking air out of the flask, you'd see it on the pressure meter. That's not changing because the valve is closed. And so what we're going to do now is we're going to open the valve, and we're going to see what happens. So remember, I'm not heating or anything like that. Oop, no heating at all. I'm going to open this up, and you'll actually hear a difference in terms of the air flowing. And so what you can see is it was 12 psi, and now it's all the way down to like 1.3. And what will happen is the water will start to boil. And you can see bubbles starting at the top there. I'm going to turn it to its side a little bit so the thing isn't in the way. It's not bubbling fast, but it's definitely boiling there. Yeah, so you can see bubbling up. And the pressure is now pretty low. The pressure is 0.83 psi, so it's like around 5% of what it usually is. So we've lowered the pressure way down, and the water's boiling. Now the thermometer says that it's 62 degrees, but that doesn't really mean anything at this stage because our temperature probe's just sitting here. So if I put my hand on the temperature probe, that'll go up. What we'll do is we'll stop the vacuum and open it up and measure the temperature inside the water right now. Okay, so I'm going to close that first. I'm going to turn that off. I'm going to open this up. Take this off here. And then I'm going to let air in. So that hasn't changed because this thing is still airtight. I'm going to let air in. It'll go back up to atmospheric pressure. Okay. And now I'm going to put the temperature probe in there and see what temperature it is. It was 72 when we started. And now it is still 72 now. So it's back to the same temperature. So basically what we did is we boiled the water at around 70 degrees Fahrenheit. That's how it works.